Remember when mankind invented the wheel? What a fun time. But kids these days, they think they can make anything roll. They don't even care about if it's rounded or not. I mean, a piece of plastic with a lot of sides is kind of like a sphere. But when you get to 6 sides, that's just a cube. It's not meant to roll. But these kids, man, they never get enough. The new trend nowadays is rolling pyramids. 4-sided, 3-dimensional triangles. They are so hard to roll. Like, so hard. Why do they waste all that energy trying to roll a dice like that when you can just get 4 equal pieces of wood, stick them together and paint numbers on their sides, seal them with hot glue, stick that in half a plastic sphere, fill it with colored water, glue it to an XPS foam base, seal it with silicone, build some ornamental details around, paint it, shake the thing and look at what side is floating up. Isn't that just way easier? On the current campaign on the game Pathfinder Adventure card game, my character uses this card a lot. It basically allows you to use an additional 4-sided die on combat rolls. So basically I use a d4 quite a lot. Like on 99% of combats I'll be rolling one. Plus my dexterity dice, which is a d10. So I thought it would be cool to have a prop that was shaped like the amulet on the card and allowed me to roll those 2 dices at the same time, and also put water in it, because shaking a poorly made prop filled with water around a game that's entirely made of cardboard makes a lot of sense. I wanted to evoke the feel of those magic 8 balls that told the future, so I fill it with densely colored water. The idea is that the water would only allow the player to see whichever side of the dice was facing up, and it won't be translucent enough for the numbers around to pop up. Eventually, after testing and building for a while, there was simply not enough room for the 2 dice, unless I made the amulet massive. So I decided to make my own tiny 4-sided die out of wood. That way, one die would rest on the bottom of the amulet and the other would float. Quite a cool concept, right? But the D10 still needed quite a lot of vertical space, and when I finished the casing and decoration, it looked like this. So pretty. Too pretty, in fact. So pretty that wars could begin just to claim possession of such a beautiful artifact. So very much like Frodo, a Spanish with a strangely Russian-sounding accent Frodo, I embarked on a quest to destroy the Amulet of Power. I abandoned the plan of putting the D10 inside and used half of these fishing floaters. I got a pack of 3 for 2.5 euros, so not super cheap, but it's affordable. I salvaged my idea of a floating D4, which as I said is no more than 4 pieces of a wooden skewer painted and coated with a thin layer of hot glue to protect it from the water. I cut the silhouette of the amulet from a plastic lid and applied silicone sealer around the edge of the dome. For the details, I used a homemade cardboard paste for the metallic parts and pieces from some fancy looking plastic toothpicks. I'll leave you a link in the description on how to make the cardboard paste. I could have used some resin or epoxy putty or make silicone molds, but I have a whole philosophy on recycling and using what you have at hand instead of buying expensive materials. And the best way to tell you about this philosophy is, of course, with a song. I'm poor. After the paste dried, I made a hole on the back of the plastic base and filled the dome halfway with colored water, this time not so densely. I recommend using watercolor to tint the water, because acrylic might actually dry inside or end up staining the plastic. I sealed the hole with more silicone sealer And once it cured, I sadly realized that the silicone sealer does not stick to the plastic lid, and water was leaking everywhere. So I went back to the first method of using XPS foam as a plug, and seal the water in. This time you're not going anywhere, you stupid liquid piece of shit. To finish it, I primed and painted the whole thing, and prayed the gods that this thing works properly this time. Now I still need to use my 10-sided die on my combat outside the amulet, but to be precise, the power of the amulet is what gives me the additional D4, not the D10. So from a lore perspective, it makes more sense this way.
Look at this poor excuse for a man, trying to justify a failed project, salvaging what little he has left of his frail dignity, begging for likes and subscribers, with wiki jokes, stock photos and Simpson references. Poor pretty decent craftsman. But don't cry for him, he's already dead.
I'm poor, I don't have money to buy all that expensive shit. I should open a Patreon so you can give me money. Please subscribe and go to my Patreon and give me your money so I can buy shit for making videos and food so I don't die, 'cause I'm poor. Yay. And hit like if you like the video. Whoa. And don't forget to comment.